Pop, 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 pop 4. Sharp cracks, a silver SUV sliding sideways, steam curling from the grill as it noses into my irrigation ditch, while 24 neighbors hold up their phones and forget to breathe. And there I am, walking out with a bright yellow sign that says, "Warning. Authorized vehicles only. Traffic control. Devices in use." Calm voice, steady hands. And then Madison Pike tries to flip the script, lifting her phone like a badge and saying I've been recording him. He threatened me. And when she taps play to make me the villain, her own voice comes next, clear and careless once I put the $15,000 back in the playground. Fund nobody will know it was missing. My name's Jack Lawson, 57. Air Force civil engineer, retired, the kind of man who thinks in maps and load ratings and fence lines. And 3 months before that ditch scene, I inherited 11 acres on the edge of Maple Crest in Rockford County. I came for tomatoes and quiet, for fixing the barn roof and putting my grandfather's rows back in order. Not for becoming the poster boy of why you check paperwork before you give away your land. You know what I mean. The first Tuesday she's in my driveway like she owns it. Big sunglasses. Clipboard, the smile that looks rehearsed in a mirror. "Good morning, Mr. Lawson." She says I'm Madison Pike, president of the Maple Crest HOA. We need to discuss our established emergency access through your property. Established like the 10 Commandments. And I point at the mailbox where my parcel number is stenciled, and I say, if it's established, show me the book. And page where it lives, she blinks. Smooths her tone. County records can be scattered. I'll have my assistant pull the files, and I tell her, great. Bring the recorded easement until then. Please, stay off my land. And we part like two people playing chess in slow motion. Each sure the other will blink first. That night, I'm at the recorder's office under a ceiling fan that ticks like a metronome. The clerk unrolls plats older than my father's boots. Survey pins match my fence to the inch subdivision. Approvals show one way in and one way out. Emergency vehicles routed the long way. No easement. Not in any chain of title. I make copies. I breathe. Easy, I drive home, thinking this was just a misunderstanding and not the opening scene of a neighborhood psych-op. Next afternoon, a silver SUV slides past 2 red "no trespassing" signs, like their lawn decor phone mounted on the dash. Slow roll down my field road, as if recording a nature documentary called How I Make Rights by Pretending They Exist. I sip coffee at the kitchen window and watch her turn. Where the cottonwoods hide the bend, then I order 2 trail cams and mount a third. Under the barn eave, if she wants a record, we'll make a record mine with timestamps, angles, cloud backup, all the boring things that make truth stick. The soft pressure starts a stroller. Mom, a ball cap. Dad, an older guy, who opens with, "I'm a vet too, brother," and goes straight to guilt, each with the same 3-act script. Safety, children, community. We're not asking for much, just basic cooperation. The lines are so consistent, you can feel the rehearsal in your molars. I keep my voice even. I say the same thing every time, show me a recorded easement, and I'll open the gate myself until then. Please do not cross my fence. I note dates and plates and faces. I let calm be my strongest weapon. Because when someone wants you to be the monster, composure is the one costume they can't use against you. The paper comes just when it needs to official-looking letterhead seal that's almost right, but not quite serif font. Trying too hard. Temporary emergency access. Granted, due to public safety signed by community development, which even a dusty farmer knows doesn't grant road access. I call the county patient woman, puts me on hold, comes back with no such approval has been issued, and that is not our seal. "Thank you, ma'am," I say, and I look at the page until the quiet thuds in my chest. This isn't confusion. This is theater, and not the good kind. Then the inspectors, or the Halloween version of them. Matching polos, flimsy badges. Rental van with the bar code, tucked to the far side. A tripod. They handle like gospel. The lead guy asks about my fence height. As if a tape measure decides ambulance geometry. I ask him, which department approved his turning radius? Who signed his traffic plan? Blink. Blink, he mutters. Pending review, and starts photographing my petunias. I photograph their plates and the rental sticker and the way their shoes still look store-bought. Yeah, that happened. Friday at the griddle. I'm nursing a black coffee when a Maple Crest mom leaves her group chat on loud, and the phone starts pinging confessions by accident. Remember to lead with safety. The children angle works best document any aggressive behavior. People at the counter look at me like a choir. Just sang my name. I keep sipping because the hardest part of a smear is not performing the version of yourself they printed on the flyer. That afternoon, I finally see the bigger board. Maple Crest Phase 2 expansion drawings on a public portal. My land is the hinge piece with a through road. Their build doubles without it. They have a money problem. So an emergency shortcut across my rows wasn't mercy for ambulances. It was leverage for developers. And my jaw settles. Not angry. Loud, angry. Precise because land fights are math fights, and math, when you let it work, is polite, but relentless. I dig into the HOA portal download statements in the playground fund. I watch minus 15,000 carved off in careful slices over 8 months. Each amount just under a trigger for extra oversight payees. With names that sound like consultants and addresses that map to strip mall mailboxes. Contractor numbers that went cold last spring. It doesn't scream theft, it hums it. Same note all day until your stomach turns. And while I'm lining up dates and receipts, Elena Ruiz knocks at sundown, holding a manila folder. Like it's a hot pan, I'm the treasurer, she says. Have you received any HOA funds related to legal action with you? Absolutely not. Answer, she exhales. Then we have a problem. Those withdrawals were booked as legal fees. There are no invoices. We put our paperwork on my kitchen table, and the world tilts into focus. Not neighborly dispute, not even petty fraud. Something colder and bigger and hungry. Real authority finally calls. Inspector Andre Whitaker County, transportation reports of forged documents tied to your parcel. I need to verify site conditions and the status of any access rights. We set a time, and here's a card I'd kept face down since day one. The morning after Madison first smiled in my driveway, I filed for and got permits for access restriction and traffic control devices on private land. Signs, barriers, warnings, all the dull things that prove you're not hunting vengeance, you're maintaining order. And when Whitaker shows up in a county truck and asks about subgrade after rain and first frost and runoff inspections. When he glances at Madison's letter and says that seal is wrong, and that signature is not my department, then writes a case number. I sleep like a man who isn't crazy, just outnumbered, but aligned with the rules. The next step is theater of my own. Not rage strategy. I buy a for sale. By owner sign in town, and say loud enough for the clerk and a phone camera to hear. Maybe I'm too old for this. And sure enough, Madison is parked across the street, catching the angle like a paparazzo. Later. She knocks with a smile, so big it shows molars. Mr. Lawson, maybe we can find a compromise if you sell. I can finally pay back. Finally get proper access for the community. That slip is a confession dropped in bubble wrap. I nod like a tired man. Close the door, finish installing the permitted devices at the narrow point by the ditch. Legal signed off, clearly posted, designed for vehicles, and nothing else. Physics, not spite. Her email blast lands at dawn. Emergency HOA meeting. Investor showing. Access solution. Imminent by mid-morning. There's a crowd at my fence. Linen jackets, a couple taking selfies, a kid floating a drone. Madison works the circle like a politician handing out yard signs, and I stand by my fence in a clean shirt with a chest cam and a coffee. Whitaker idles near the county road. Elena hovers with a face the color of paper, and when Madison climbs into her SUV and says, "Watch how simple and reasonable this access is," I don't move. The signs are visible. The cameras see everything. The only thing left is gravity and timing. And then the sound that started this story hits pop, 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 pop tires. Gone. The slide slow and humiliating. The nose settles into the ditch. Steam hisses. People gasp, and I walk forward with 2 posted signs and plant them. Steady voice. This is posted. This is permitted. This is private land. Approval starts to wilt into doubt. Spike strips, really? Someone whispers. A contractor. Rubs a callus like he's measuring ethics with his thumb, and Madison senses the shift so fast, it's almost admirable. She lifts her phone, shakes just enough to sell it. I didn't want to do this, but he threatened me. She taps play. My own voice clipped and rearranged. I need to see the documentation. Then you can't use my road. Then bring me the recording cut short. So it sounds like I'm hunting a fight. The crowd tightens. And then the phone keeps playing. Either her thumb slips, or God gets bored of watching, and we all hear the line that resets the room. Once I put the $15,000 back in the playground fund, nobody will know. It was missing. We'll call it legal fees, a mom in scrubs says. You stole from our kids. Elena chokes. That's the money, and Madison fumbles for pause, but the audio gives one more gift. The old guy will make a perfect scapegoat. We'll say we had to protect people at any cost. You can feel the air change, not a gust, a pivot. Whitaker steps in. Badge catching sun. Ms. Pike, cease any claims of access across this property. Do not move that vehicle until we complete our report. He hands her a paper with the stamp that matches my permits. A local broker murmurs, that's her license? Gone. 2 investors back away. Like the tide, the drone drifts and the kid jogs after it. Madison looks at me like she could bend metal with heat. Then the lanyard around her neck slips, and the plastic badge hits the gravel with a soft clack. No speeches, no cuffs. Just consequence. I'd love to say victory tasted sweet. It didn't. It tasted like well water and dust. Like my grandfather's fence line at dusk. Stubborn and honest, afterward, Elena calls and apologizes and promises minutes. And money will match for once. And a neighbor in a cap mutters, "You could have just locked a gate." I stare at the posted signs and the pile of forged theater I've collected and say, maybe? Or maybe locks are for honest people, you know what I mean? Was I too harsh? Did I go too far? Or did I just do what the book allows when charm and pressure try to turn private land into a shortcut for profit? I followed the rules I kept. The anger quiet, I made the truth boring enough to hold, and still I carry that weight. Because crowds forgive lies faster than they forgive anything that looks like meanness, even when the meanness is warning signs and permits, and physics doing what physics does. So tell me, did I draw the line clean, or did I carve it too deep? If your HOA president stood in your driveway with a forged letter and a smile, what would you do? Drop your take below. Argue me. Defend me. Tell me your own story of a tape that wouldn't stop playing. And if you believe paper and sunlight still matter, tap like, hit subscribe. Share this with the neighbor who thinks community without honesty is anything but a costume party after the lights come up.